In a world that can feel pretty divided most of the time, I'm pretty sure we can all agree that time can feel like it's flying by. I don't know if it feels more like that lately with the constant access to information and opinions of anyone and everyone, which is one of the main reasons I found myself these past few years seeking out ways to live my days with more intention and purpose. Writing and journaling has always been something I've enjoyed, and using this practice to process walking through each season has been so life-giving for me. This year, I've been so excited to release the first volume in the She is Awakening seasonal journal collection. And the feedback that I've received from those of you that already have yours has been even more exciting. The journal walks you through each season with prompts, original art, and free downloadable thoughts and quotes that you can access with a scan code found in your journal. We've made it available for you in soft and hardcover options. And if you would like to experience one for yourself, you can find ordering information in the show notes or by visiting my website, susanbeth.com. So here I am, purposely wading through puddles, walking barefoot through this huge parking lot, basically living my best life. And I've got to tell you, it felt so good. Hi, friend. I'm Susan Beth, and you are listening to the She Is podcast, where we talk about living life intentionally and about trusting that the desires you have deep within you are there for a reason. I believe that the creator of the universe put those desires within you and that they are pathways to your purpose. My desire is that this would be a space that encourages you to lean in and to hear the whispers of the divine, and that you would be reminded of things that I honestly believe you already know. That you, my friend, are here for a reason. So if you're here for more conversations in that kind of space, welcome. Let's go. The weather here in North Florida has been a summery mixture of a heat wave and summer storms. And a few weeks ago, I entered a storm while the sun was shining up in the sky. And then, as I was pushing my cart out of the store after shopping, I noticed the skies had darkened and rain was coming down. And you might not know this about me, but I hate getting rained on. It's one of those things that can put me in a bad mood real quick. I hate the feeling of my clothes getting wet and then they're all damp as you have to drive home. And I especially hate it if I have on sandals or some kind of shoes that my feet get wet. Wet, slippery feet and shoes are to me the worst. And I know I've talked about the theme of the summer journal here on the podcast of living freely and lightly, but I'm not sure if I've talked about the aspect of play and of stepping into the idea of having a whimsical summer. Because what I've said in the journal and now here on the podcast, they're kind of all meshed together in my brain at the moment. So you're either hearing this for the first time or again. But seasons are this miraculous dance that we experience between work and rest. And we all have seasons where we absolutely need to have our heads down to the ground, focused on what we are putting our hand to. But the spirit of summertime is all about this invitation to be childlike and around playfulness, a time for us to be refreshed and to find real rest. So back to me walking out of the store, pushing a cart into a summer storm. My initial thoughts were, are you kidding me? And then I quickly caught those thoughts and I reminded them that we are living freely and lightly these days. So what's the game plan? So I then proceeded to bend over and take off my shoes. Now I know that is totally grossing some of you out right now, but I did it and I'm not sorry about it. I took my shoes and I stuck them down into one of the bags in the shopping cart and I headed into the parking lot. And then I noticed all of these huge puddles of water in my path. And normally, as a grown adult woman, I would, with great intention, steer away from any standing water. But when you are committed to living a summer of wonder and whimsy, you proceed to do what your grandchildren would do, and you head straight for the puddle. I experienced that with my own kids and now with the grands. It's like there's some magnet that pulls them to any standing water, and they always just want to walk straight through it. And I am always pulling on their arm, trying to redirect them, which typically doesn't work. So here I am, purposely wading through puddles, walking barefoot through this huge parking lot, basically living my best life. And I've got to tell you, it felt so good. It felt good to, instead of me getting frustrated and resisting getting wet, I walked straight into and chose to follow whimsy and getting wet. We talk a lot about living life intentionally here on the podcast, and that's such an empowering thought and intention on one side. But life doesn't always match up to our expectations of how the days and the weeks are going to look. So do I still believe that we should live intentionally? Absolutely. We just need to make sure that intentionality continues when we have no choice but to enter the storm in front of us. This season is more than likely going to bring a summer storm or two your way. And you might not have a choice of whether you have to walk through it, but you absolutely have a choice in how you are going to walk through it. I would love to remind you today, whether you started this summer season in the middle of a storm, or you understand that there is more than likely one on the horizon. My hope and prayer is that you will intentionally take off your shoes, and that you will recognize the ground that your feet are touching is sacred, and that you are not walking through any storm alone. Just as I felt that hard pavement that day underneath my wet feet, as I made my way through the parking lot, it reminded me with my senses that I was alive and I was supported. And I hope that you are reminded of that truth today as well. I love you guys, and we'll talk soon. Hey, you. Thanks for listening. And if you would like to connect more, head over to susanbeth.com and sign up, and you will be one of the first to find out about anything new. Plus, there's a special free download available just to say thanks. If something in this episode did speak to you, would you do me a favor and share it with a friend that you think it might resonate with as well? And until next time, keep showing up in the world just as God purposed you to do, because you being you is exactly what we all need.